Nigeria, the giant of Africa, finds itself at a crossroad. The nation is grappling with a wave of protests fueled by deep-seated economic grievances. From bustling cities to rural communities, Nigerians are raising their voices against the rising cost of living and widespread poverty. The protests have taken an unexpected turn with the appearance of Russian flags among the demonstrators. This development has raised questions about the nature of the protests and the potential role of external actors. The Nigerian government has condemned the display of foreign flags, seeing it as a threat to national security. The international community watches with concern, highlighting the fragility of peace and stability. The protests are a cry for help, a plea for change in a system many feel has failed. At the heart of the unrest in Nigeria lies a profound sense of economic despair. Years of mismanagement, corruption, and a heavy reliance on oil revenue have left the Nigerian economy vulnerable. The recent removal of fuel subsidies by the Nigerian government has added fuel to the fire. The policy has had a devastating impact on ordinary Nigerians, many of whom rely on cheap fuel. The sharp rise in fuel prices has triggered a surge in the cost of food, transportation, and other essentials. The appearance of Russian flags at the Nigerian protests has become a source of intense speculation and debate. Some observers view it as a purely symbolic act, a way for protesters to express their anger and frustration with the West, which they perceive as complicit in Nigeria's economic woes. Others, however, see the Russian flags as evidence of a more coordinated effort by Moscow to exploit the situation in Nigeria to advance its own geopolitical interests. Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, has been actively seeking to expand its influence in Africa. Moscow has been forging military alliances, securing lucrative contracts in the extractive industries, and cultivating close ties with African leaders. The Kremlin views Africa as a strategically important region, rich in natural resources and offering opportunities to counter Western influence. While it is too early to definitively determine the extent of Russia's involvement in the Nigerian protests, the incident has raised concerns about the Kremlin's willingness to exploit instability and sow discord to achieve its strategic objectives. Russia's foray into Africa is part of a broader geopolitical shift. As the US grapples with domestic divisions and China's power grows, Russia sees an opportunity to reassert itself. Africa, with its vast potential and strategic importance, has become a key theater in this competition. Russia's approach to Africa differs from the West. While the West emphasizes democracy and human rights, Russia engages with leaders regardless of their records. This has allowed Russia to secure a foothold, offering security assistance, arms sales, and investments. Russia's growing influence in Africa has not gone unnoticed. There is concern that Russia's activities undermine Western interests. The challenges facing Nigeria are complex and multifaceted, but they are not insurmountable. The first step towards a solution is for the Nigerian government to acknowledge the legitimacy of the protesters' grievances and to engage in a genuine dialogue with its people. This dialogue must address the root causes of the unrest, including poverty, inequality, corruption, and a lack of opportunity. The government must also take concrete steps to restore trust in its institutions. This includes ensuring that the upcoming elections are free, fair, and credible, and that those responsible for human rights abuses are held accountable. The international community also has a role to play in supporting Nigeria's journey towards a more stable and prosperous future. This includes providing humanitarian assistance to those in need, supporting civil society organizations working to promote democracy and human rights, and using diplomacy to encourage the Nigerian government to choose the path of dialogue and reform. The presence of Russian flags at the Nigerian protests demands a thorough and impartial investigation. It is essential to establish the facts surrounding the incident, including the origin of the flags, the motivations of those who displayed them, and the extent, if any, of external involvement. An independent fact-finding mission, perhaps under the auspices of the United Nations or the African Union, should be established to investigate these allegations. The mission should be granted full access to all relevant information and witnesses, and its findings should be made public. Holding those responsible for human rights abuses accountable is also essential for ending the cycle of violence and impunity in Nigeria. The government should establish an independent mechanism to investigate and prosecute all allegations of human rights violations, regardless of the perpetrator. The situation in Nigeria remains fluid and uncertain. The country stands at a crossroads, facing a choice between the path of repression and further instability, or the path of dialogue, reform, and a renewed commitment to democratic principles. The Nigerian people have shown great courage and resilience in the face of adversity. They deserve a government that respects their rights, listens to their concerns, and works tirelessly to create a more just and equitable society. The international community has a moral obligation to stand with the Nigerian people in their struggle for a better future. By working together, we can help Nigeria navigate its current challenges and emerge as a beacon of hope and democracy in Africa and beyond. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and share. This helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching. Remember, it's the Deliberate Expat, and have a beautiful day.